What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. First off, I have to thank you guys for supporting me through this past Alphalete launch. It was insane. I think this might be the best launch that we've had, and it's all thanks to you guys. So I really appreciate you. And while we're on that topic, this premium long sleeve and these yellow identity shorts are still in stock, so you can check those out if you weren't able to get any or you just haven't checked it out yet. They still are in stock. My personal favorite leg day shorts, so yeah, they're awesome. But anyway, we have a workout coming up. We're gonna hit legs today. I'm starting with 8 ounces of tilapia and 8 ounces of potatoes. This will be my second meal of the day, so we're gonna get that going here. Already got it prepped up, thanks to Gina. She actually cooked this, so super thankful for that. I believe she uses everything bagel seasoning on this tilapia, right? Super good. What do you use on the potatoes? Just salt?
The potatoes, olive oil, garlic salt, basil, and rosemary.
There you go. Super simple, super good. I really don't get tired of it. If it's in the fridge, I'll eat it. So I highly recommend. But yeah, just 8 ounces, and we will get this going here. All right, guys. All right, guys, so today's leg workout is gonna be a little bit different. It's gonna be a neuromuscular day. So we're slowing everything down. It's a lot less overall volume. Everything is very deliberate. It's a little tedious. It's lighter weights, obviously, and we're really focusing on fixing my valgus knee. I'll show you a little bit more as to what that is when we get to the gym. But essentially we're focusing on my external rotators and the outer portions of my quads, like strengthening that side while loosening up and stretching the inner portions of my quad, and just focusing more on my foot placement and where my weight is shifted on my feet. And so I'll cover that in more detail when we get there. But yeah, it's gonna be an interesting workout. Highly recommend you guys try it. Like, throw this in for a week, and then the next time you go into your full-on leg workout, you're gonna notice a difference, whether it's just mind muscle connection, less or no knee pain, and better activation of the outer quads and the glutes and everything. So we're gonna start heading there and get to it. Like, ooh, they're watching how I move. All right, so like I said, today's workout is gonna be a little bit different, more neuromuscular, specifically trying to help fix my knee valgus. So for those of you that don't know, knee valgus is when your knees are shifting in like that, partially from tight internal rotators, weaker externals, and then as well as some ankle mobility stuff going on. So like excessive pronation of the foot. You can see here, so you'll notice that when my feet pronate, so when they go in like that, the knee follows, right? So that's what we want to avoid if you're having knee pain. It's a very common issue. So one of the first things we're gonna do, start getting those hips loosened up and the internal rotators loosened up. So we're gonna start here, and we can even like rotate our foot up a little bit just to get the full stretch through here. Just gonna hold for 30 seconds, get the other leg, and then we're gonna go into banded side steps. So the banded side steps are gonna be where it starts to burn and where we really start to emphasize those external rotators before we even start our lifts. So we'll be doing 20 one direction, 20 back, 20 in one direction, 20 back, 20 one direction, 20 back. That'll be one set. We're gonna do that 3 times to start. All right, guys, so you're gonna want a hip band like this, or booty band. I'm using Ali Bess's, so if you need one, make sure to hit her website up. So on these side steps, we're gonna keep our legs completely straight. And I highly recommend doing these with no shoes on, or at least have it be a flat-soled shoe, so that you can really emphasize where your weight is shifting onto your toes. So what happens is a lot of people do this, they have that excessive pronation and you lose the arch in your foot, causing the knees to drift in. So not only are we sidestepping and getting those external rotators, we are shifting our weight to the outside of our foot, still keeping the balls of our feet fully planted and maintaining that solid arch through the whole thing. So we're going 20 back and forth 3 times, that's 1 set, and we'll repeat it 3 times. So right here. All right, so we're gonna be supersetting those with these stretches here. So make sure, this is pretty much your rest time. Get that stretch in. And then keep in mind, something else this is really useful for is if you're lacking that outer quad development, having that shift to your external rotators is also gonna place a lot more load on those outer quads and get those awesome sweeping quads we all really want. Like, that's the weakest part of my quad. And I've recently found out like that's why, is because my internal rotators are so tight and my external rotators are weak, partially because honestly, my glutes are just overdeveloped. They just grew from squats extremely easy. And so I've kind of avoided direct glute work, specifically external work, but that's where I'm lacking. Like, just my maximus is huge, not my medius, which is on the sides. So that's incredibly important from a functional standpoint, that you guys don't slack on that stuff, because that's going to lead to more knee pain and lack of development on the outer quads. Yeah, you can see that difference, like it's so much higher.
We gon' hit you niggas with 100 drums. Low, no bad bitch. Good drink, I'm famished.
We're moving into a superset of barbell hip thrusts and lying hamstring curls. So on these hip thrusts, we're not going for tons of weight, okay? We're going for very specific form, slow and deliberate. So we're gonna get these right over the hips here. Might just ditch this for this one, actually. Okay, so right on the center of the hips, feet flat. You want your feet a little bit out, just in line with your hips, knees out over the toes. We're going very slow here. Tight core. Make sure you don't let your lower back tilt down, but we're gonna be thinking about digging through those heels, keeping the balls of our feet dug into the floor, knees out over the toes to really emphasize those external glutes. Hold, very slow and deliberate. Going for 15 reps. 3 sets of 15. All right guys, so for this lying hamstring curl, I'm using a dumbbell just because it forces you to maintain full control over the weight the entire time. One thing I want you to focus on is squeezing, keeping your glutes tight so your pelvis is flat against the bench. And then you're just slow, keep those toes pointed. Slow, get that contraction all the way through. All right, so for one, you could definitely do like a machine lying hamstring curl if you have one. That would probably be a little bit easier as far as just like keeping control of the weight and everything. It can be a little tricky with the dumbbell in between your feet, but on the other end, like I said, you have to focus a lot harder. So keeping the dumbbells in between my feet, I'm still trying to have my knees externally rotate, my glutes externally rotate outwards as I contract. And if you look at my feet, they're pointed straight down here. And then as I come up, I kind of extend them towards my calves, or like the front of my calves. So you see they'll go straight, and then they come up, and the contraction is unreal. Just 12 to 15 on each of these. All right guys, so next up, we're gonna be going into a close stance Smith machine squat. Here, the emphasis again, as always on all this stuff, is keeping that weight, the weight on your balls of your feet, keeping that arch, so you feel some pressure on the outside of your foot, feet nice and close, and we're gonna focus on pushing those knees out over the toes. Again, emphasizing the outer quads, external rotators and everything, and keeping our knees from shifting inwards. And everything here, I know I said like 3x15, 3x20, all that stuff, but really like 10 to 20 reps is what you're gonna be wanting to aim for. 20 reps, I mean, closer to 15 to 20 on the banded side steps, 10 to 15 on everything else. If you fail a little bit sooner, that's okay, because these sets are so tedious and so deliberate. Everything's really slow and controlled. It's like, if you're hitting absolute failure on these, that's some serious growth right there. And you're gonna carry that into your other lifts, like once you actually start picking up volume and intensity. You know, not every workout is gonna be like this, but throwing this in every now and then really helps you get back to the foundation, build on that, and overall improve everything functionality wise moving forward. So folks, remember longevity, guys. Longevity. And just after doing all this stuff, man, like my hips feel so good, like everything, I almost feel like my outer quads are pumped, even though I haven't really hit quads yet, just because we've had so much emphasis on our external rotators and everything. So if you're suffering there, definitely use this workout. All right guys, so we're going into 3 sets of 10 to 15 leg extensions. Keep your feet kind of close, like on the squat. And as we go up, we're gonna be rotating those knees outwards, just focusing the external rotators. And we're gonna get a nice squeeze at the top, a solid 2 to 3 seconds. Very slow and deliberate through the whole movement. right guys, so moving into our last movement here, just 3 sets of calf raises, 10 to 15 reps, keeping those same concepts in mind. You know, feet hip width apart, toes slightly out, keeping our weight shifted on the outside of our foot, pushing through the balls of our feet, but keeping those knees externally rotated. None of this stuff, pushing out over the toes. Okay guys, so just finished up that workout. A few things I want to really emphasize is to slow the movements down both ways, right? Like if you might have even seen me start to speed it up a little bit at the bottom or the top or something. I have to check myself to slow back down and focus on that mind-muscle connection. These are extremely tedious reps. It's a tedious workout, less overall volume, but the intensity on your muscles, the intensity on the actual muscles is insane. And remember, we're focusing on that functionality and fixing the knee valgus. Let's step out here for a sec. Cool, so hopefully you guys were able to hear me say that. I was just saying, really focus on slowing everything down. Check yourself when you notice you start to speed it up, slow it back down. And Hanman was even noticing when I was walking, because like he deals with the same issue. It's a very common issue. You might not even realize you have it, but if you just look and see your knees are shifted in a little bit, you're experiencing some form of knee valgus, and it's probably causing some kind or some level of knee pain. So he noticed, like, just when I was walking after doing all of this, it's like my knee valgus is already feeling so much better. Like my weight is just naturally shifted towards the outside of my foot. And like I'm not focusing on it right now. That's just happening because I had so much activation through my external rotators in the outer portion of my quads. And my quads, and to emphasize that, like the lateral quad, the vastus lateralis, it was burning through both the leg extensions and the close stance squat because of how much emphasis we place on the external rotators and everything. So not only is it gonna help your knees, it's gonna help your overall development. But yeah guys, I mean, that's pretty much it for the workout. We're gonna head home and get my post-workout shake in. All right guys, so I'm just getting in my post-workout shake. It's 10 ounces of 2% milk, 2 scoops of protein. I'm gonna have an apple just for some quick carbs and protein post-workout. But to close off this video, I just want to leave you guys with some value, or something I think you'll find valuable that's come up a couple times recently. And it's this idea of favoring or placing more value in somebody having a different level of balance, in this case with fitness per se. Like for me, for example, okay, like I work out 5-6 days a week on the reg, you know, 1.5 to 2 hours on average. And you don't have to do that, nor should you value that over something less that's more sustainable for you, right? Like everybody's balance is going to be a little bit different, and that's okay. It completely depends on how much you want to commit to this. You know, like I'm surrounding my whole life with this. I love this. Like it's my career, you know, I want to compete and do all these things with it. Not everybody's like that, and don't judge yourself for that. Don't compare what you're trying to do with what I'm trying to do. Find that balance that works best for you and go with that, you know. But I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to say, guys, and I'll close out the video here. I really do want to take you through the whole house. Today it was so dark and gloomy that it was just really dark in the house. I want to take you on like a nice bright day. Probably the next video, maybe we can just kind of show you guys the house, go cover that a little bit, cover a push day, which we haven't been able to cover yet since getting back on the grind here. But yeah guys, I think I'm just gonna call it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, comment, like, subscribe. Real quick before we end, I just want to say my knees feel incredible right now. Like ask Haman, I've been talking nonstop about it since after the workout, so I highly recommend implementing that. And anyways guys, I will see you next time.